أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for coming. We're continuing our 20th word. Again, it's very, very interesting topic. Very new perspective on creation, how to perceive it, how to relate to it, how to engage with it, and even what to expect. And of course, all of this is formed by that creation is owned and ruled by an absolute one. So it's very exciting. The main verse again that we keep kind of visiting in different ways or in different layers is a verse from Surah Al-Tawbah talking about how everything in the Quran is clearly recorded. And we keep visiting prophetic stories, and I really dislike the word stories. We need to find, we need to find a new word for that. I am sorry for this inconvenience on the screen, but I will fix it. Is it not? Thank you. Soon enough the reading will be on the screen, inshallah. So we are continuing on Solomon's story, and today we might get into Ibrahim's story, alayhim salam. And again, let us know whenever you have any questions or reflections. Okay. See. All right. Page 13. There we go. All right. O men, in order to honor his prophethood and the complete justice of his rule, I subjugated to one of your fellow men, who was totally submissive to me, the huge creatures in my dominions, causing them to speak. And I made most of my troops and animals his servants. In which case, since I have committed to each of you the supreme trust, from which the sky, earth, and mountains shrunk, and I have given you the ability to be my vicegerent on earth, you should yield to me, the one in whose hand are the reins of these creatures, so that the creatures in my dominions may yield also to you, and you may obtain in the name of the one who holds them, their reins, and rise to a position worthy of your abilities. Last week we spent a lot of time talking about the word subjugated. However, if someone wants to add, reflect, or ask about that, let us know. Because we realized that it's not the best word to use. But we explained it thoroughly last week. Again, as we see here, it's talking about I feel like it's addressing really the expectations we have of creation and how to perceive it, not just as empty objects. Does anyone else see anything here or have any questions about anything in particular here? Go ahead, Brother Ad.
So just to warm up into the subject, get into it. So we have to remember that prophets appointed by the Creator, they are given all these opportunities through miraculous creations because of their obedience, total submission to the Creator of the universe. Now, and also, as it is explained here, in order to perform his mission, of course, he has to practice complete justice of his rule. He needed needs, and these needs are provided by him, by the Creator of the universe. Here it is. This is as far as the mission of the prophet and his submission to his Creator's order is concerned. They are given these miraculous events, creation. But why God mentions this to his book and asks me in the 21st century to read it? And there must be a message for me. When I questioned this message, as the author questioned, why does my Creator speak to me and tells me something happened in an unknown history, for me, unknown history, and presents it as if as it is a miraculous creation for the prophet. But since he is telling me this in his speech and says, okay, you have to...
Brother Adi, I don't hear you. Is that just me?
You don't?
I hear him fine.
Somebody, if somebody is not hearing, then sign out and sign in again. I think may help, hopefully. Okay, let's go back to our subject. Something happened, our friend dropped. Okay. Our moderator dropped, so, okay, come back. Okay, alhamdulillah, you are back. Share the screen, please. We don't, okay, Radba, you are, okay. Now, from one side, the prophet was loyal to the order of the Creator, or the duty which is given on him, loyal to it, wanted to fulfill it, but didn't have the means. So miraculously, the means are provided for them. Now, this is because it is narrated in his speech, which says this speech is valid after he was revealed until the end of time to everyone. And you and I are reading this speech And then he says, there was an event happened in the past, miraculous. They happened in this. So why do you tell me? And then we say, there must be a reason, let's investigate. And the author says, yes, there's a reason, because the creator of the universe, by narrating this miraculous event, gives me the hinting that, look, the way I am creating the universe includes in this possibility. That is the news I'm getting now. It happened miraculously to the prophet because in his time, he didn't have the means to investigate. Now, by narrating this, encouraging me to find out in the way that he creates the order of the universe. So it is an encouragement for us. That is possible for you. But you have to use your ability, supreme trust. What is supreme trust? We touched upon it to a certain extent. The ability to understand the universe, the creation, and communicate with the creator through the creation. And this ability gives me the opportunity to understand, to come to the conclusion that the creator of the universe has this and this and this and these qualities. So I have to acknowledge it, acknowledge him with these qualities. This is called supreme trust. Simply put it, human side of us. It means our spirit. Now, and also the same source says, you are my vicegerent on earth. Now, since I have been given the ability to communicate with him, but he says, okay, you are my vicegerent on it. What does it mean? I created this miraculous event and I'm narrating to you. So I am telling you that as my vicegerent, you can use your supreme trust, your human ability to find out from my creation. And you can also do the same thing, speak to animals, communicate with the animals. So there must be a way of benefiting from them. That's why I'm telling you, because you are now, if you like, given the capacity to communicate with through the creation and ask me to create the way and teach me, I'm speaking to my creator now, to create the way or show me the way that I can benefit from the animals, other creatures in the world or in this existence, in the universe. Of course, it is not our subject, but including the gene creatures, or not material beings, but non-material beings. You can communicate with them. As I communicate with your non-material knowledge, for example, when you speak, I understand. Look, I'm communicating with your spirit. It is not matter. I'm not touching you. I'm not, doing any physical interaction, but I can listen to, when you speak, I can understand what you have in your mind. Look, it's some sort of meta, how to say, well, if you know the word meta communication, let's say. So why shouldn't I be able to communicate with non-material existent side of this universe? So it said it is possible. So you may obtain, as underlined here, you may obtain in the name of the one who holds them. It means you may benefit from them as a vicegerent, caliph on earth. So you can also use them, take their reins, and so that your abilities will develop to find it out. Unfortunately, we discussed earlier on, the people do not really believe that that is possible. That is possible because it is something we learn from scriptures. Nowadays, the science restricts itself with studying the matter only without listening and paying attention to the scriptures, God's speech, because they don't believe in God, so that they will listen to its speech. And this area is still remains barren. No one studies there. If we don't really cultivate a land, it doesn't grow any useful fruit for you. So we have to work. We have to put the seed and get the ground ready as much as we are given the responsibility. And then God gives us the tree or plants. But if you don't really put the seed, it doesn't. So no one is really working on it. That is what we touched upon it last week. So is it to rise to a position worthy of your abilities? Look, my ability is really to carry the supreme trust. What does it mean? The correlation between what the qualities manifested in the huge universe, qualities showing, demonstrating the qualities of its creator. Very simple, we give the example of a piece of art, saying that piece of art materially means nothing really, nothing, or a book materially means paper, which is not really much worth. But the knowledge is priceless. I can communicate with the knowledge of the knowledge in the book. I can communicate with the meaning of the universe. I can communicate with it. And they all connect me to the absolute being. They enable me to acknowledge the absolute being. So we see that my ability is to communicate with the creator, owner, master, Lord of the universe, the absolute being. So I can benefit from his property, which is the universe, using the same ability. That is why this ability is worth really to fulfill it. For example, if you need something, which we are always in need of many things in the world, and you have the means, very simple example, you are hungry and you have the food in the kitchen and you suffer from hunger, but don't go and investigate in the kitchen, get something to eat. It's ready there, food is ready there. In the universe, everything is ready for you. And you need to benefit from them. Why don't you go and search for it? That is why if I don't search for it, it means I have been denying my abilities, as if I cannot go to the kitchen, although I can. That is why I am here, hungry here, dying of hunger. But you can, why don't you go? In order to fulfill the abilities. But if I wasn't given the ability, yes, I have the excuse now not to go to the kitchen. For example, I cannot go to the kitchen. I haven't been given the ability. So we have been given the ability to find out all the secrets in the creation. So we have to utilize it. Of course, for two purposes in the following paragraphs we will come. One is acknowledging the Creator and communicating with him. The other one is also materially benefiting from it. For example, when I eat the food, I acknowledge the creator of the food. Also, my body benefits from the food and gets the nourishment, because we are created in both combination, body and human spirit, human side. So both sides must be satisfied. That is the long introduction, a summary of so far what we have been studying. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think one thing I'd like to share is, as I'm listening to you, and there is kind of a bit of resistance to believe, or even start to question what's being suggested here. And I'm like asking myself, where is this resistance coming from and why? And then I feel like there was a lot of emphasis on pain growing up, and that things are hard, things are difficult. So I always assumed that I have to be in pain somehow. There has to be something I need to be worried about, or there has to be something I'm scared of. And I felt like if I even start talking, or if I even start thinking in this direction, I'm gonna have to let go of these thoughts that, there's that there's something I cannot do, that there's something in my way, that is something that is causing pain. Like, I feel like, I don't know if this is cultural or personal, but I'm holding on to the concept of things have to be difficult for them to be worthy. And then here it's kind of the news of, well, Radwa, like, your abilities are dependent on your understanding of the supreme trust, or even your acceptance of this responsibility of being the vicegerent on earth. There isn't really much pain here. This is just to be working on accepting and thinking in this direction. So I don't know. It's different and interesting, but not so easy to welcome with all my heart. Something is a little in the way, I'm not sure. But yes, that's me. We can continue the reading and see, inshallah. Since the truth is this, I love the confidence of the author. Since the truth is this, rather than listening to the gramophone, playing with pigeons and making them deliver letters, and teaching parrots to speak, you should strive to attain to the most agreeable and elevated amusement. Then the mountains may be huge gramophones for you like David's, and the harmonious recitations of divine praises may reach your ears from the trees and plants at the touching of the breeze. And the mountains may show their true nature as wondrous creatures who recite the divine praises in thousands of tongues. And most birds may be clothed in the form of intimate friends or obedient servants, like Solomon's hoopoe. Then they may entertain you and drive you eagerly towards the perfections and attainments of which you are capable, and not make you fall from the position required by being a human being, like other amusements. Okay. And for example, in the verse we said, O fire, be cool and a means of safety, salaman, for Abraham. This is verse number 69 from chapter 21. This verse, which is about one of Abraham's, peace be upon him, miracles, are three subtle indications. The first, like other natural causes, fire does not act according to its own wishes and nature, blindly, but performs a duty under a command. Thus, it did not burn Abraham, peace be upon him, because it was commanded not to burn him. Anything here before we learn about the other two indications? Okay. Go ahead.
This is interesting to me. Fire doesn't act according to its own wishes. And it means it is the representative. Giving one example, fire doesn't really burn because of its essential quality. And thus, other things also, sun also doesn't really produce and send lights because it is essential quality to do that. The earth is rotating, not because it is essential quality, go on and so forth, all the things, essential qualities. They always receive command from their creator. What does it mean? They act according to the command of their creator. Again, it needs further explanation. What it means, they are acting only in the way that their creator has employed them. Only in the way that their creator has employed them. No other way. It doesn't mean that they are acting by themselves. So, of course, when they say nature, it is essential to the thing itself to be in this way. But by narrating this event, of course, there are 3 points that we are going to discuss. The first point is, by narrating this event in the form of a miraculous creation, of course, one aspect of this narration tells me that, look, you think that fire automatically burns by itself? No. It is under the command of its creator. If the creator doesn't give the command, it means doesn't let it burn, it cannot burn from itself. It means it is a very important message to us that the things are created, the things are employed, they don't have any essential qualities within their own existence. Now, the essential qualities are the qualities manifested in them of their creator. So we have to be careful here. All the qualities that have, for example, the piece of, again, art, When you look at the piece of art, you see the quality of art there. That is the worst side of it. That's why this piece of art is worth in the eye of the human beings, and we really appreciate the art. So these qualities only function there because the artist willed it to be like this. If the artist did not will, did not choose to the art manifest in it to be in the way that they are appearing to us, and nothing in the universe can have this art there. Only the artist of the art. So because it is an example, only a kind of I'd say example of it, not the parable, but okay, I couldn't remember the word.
Analogy or metaphor or
Sorry?
analogy?
Analogy, yeah, it's an analogy. This is a human being. Artist in this example is a human being. So human being cannot really have the art continuously changing his art there. He makes only once and leaves it. That is a human being, human limitation created. But the universe is continuously changing. The art, manifested art, is continuously changing in the creation. It shows that anytime, it is a bit difficult to comprehend because it goes against our daily routine life. Every time fire burns, it means the creator willed it to burn. Not because fire automatically, instinctively, essentially burned it. It is a great, great message that we understand from here. The first one is very essential because all people call them nature. The nature of the thing does this. Nature of water is this. Nature of cold is this. All of these ideas is shattered through the message of this verse. Says, no, it is not their nature, it is my will. But this will is incomprehensibly absolute, infinite. Why? Continuously changing, continuously keeping the order that fire burns just because he arranged it in this way. Now, created in this way. Now, anything you can liken others. Sun is really producing, or not producing, really spreading light, but not because it is naturally doing this, because its creator is enabling it to do that, creating for this purpose, because the creator is continuously changing the universe. Every change is the result of his choice. Now, but the matter cannot change itself. The result of the creator's choice. So every time, as if from our perspective, God wills the fire to exist, to burn. Now, this event, this narration of the miraculous creation, as we call it, every creation is miraculous, by the way, but this is miraculous for Abraham, because that time no one knew this news, that fire acts only according to the will of its creator. But by not burning Abraham in the example narrated in the Quran, the fire said, no, not because my instinctive, my essential quality that I burn. I was given the ability to do that. That is why I was doing it, as if the fire is declaring, look, my creator didn't want it, now it didn't. I didn't burn because it wasn't me doing that. So this news is really evaluated and studied very heavily in Islamic literature, especially philosophy. Then the nature of the things cannot require or necessitate that they will act in this way. That is why Quran describes everything in the universe as dependent on the will of the creator. If the creator wills it not to keep this order, the order shatters down. The order shatters down, collapses. The description of the Quran, this, we take it as signs of last day. No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. So it is a demonstration that everything in the universe totally depends on the will of its creator at every time. When it stops, no one can continue its existence. But total destruction of the universe possible if the creator wills so. Now, that is why doomsday is always possible. We don't know. Always possible. It makes a perfect sense to me to read this verse and benefit from it as it is described from the first. But of course, there are other messages as well, as far as the creation of miracles and my now practical life is concerned. There are other messages. We will read the other messages in the second or the third as well. These are my reflections on it. Before the class, I was working on it, and previously also. So I wanted to share what I understood from it. It is very exciting. It shutters down the, I keep speaking and repeating the same thing, naturalistic way of understanding the universe. Everything is natural. Now, really, when we study them, they have no quality to do that by themselves. For example, I am created with the ability to speak. That's why I'm speaking and utilizing it. I don't know how it happens. My cells are not aware of what's going on. But I find myself speaking. But the materialist people say, yes, you are naturally speaking. I said, what is nature? I don't know. I am made up of matter. Matter doesn't have the quality to speak so that it will develop into a quality of speech in my being, perfectly arranged with my body and with my intellectual capacity and also feelings. I can share my feelings with you. I don't know how, but I am doing it because I am giving the ability. When I am giving when my creator decides to take this ability away from me to speak, here we are, I cannot. Of course, the most obvious example, when I die, my body never, ever speaks. Why? Because my creator took this ability, speech ability, spirit away from my body as matter, as the bunch of matter, cannot speak, cannot see, cannot hear, cannot feel. You see, the matter, the death is an excellent example. matter, the body side of me, cannot never be the source of my human abilities. Can be impossible. When I die, finish. When the spirit goes, finishes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very interesting that we're discussing this after our last discussion last week on the topic of subjugation when we had trouble with it. But now talking about the command or the divine will, it fits so perfectly. Ian, I saw your hand up. Would you still like to say something?
No, Brother Ali cleared the question for me.
Okay, thank you. All right. So the second subtle indication. There is a degree of heat which burns through its coldness. Again, there is a degree of heat which burns through its coldness. That is, it has an effect like burning. Through the word be cool, Almighty God is saying to the coldness, do not burn him with your coldness, the same as your heat. That is to say, through its coldness, fire at that degree has an effect like burning. It is both fire and cold. In fact, in natural science, there is a degree of fire, the state of white heat, the heat of which does not spread to its surroundings. It attracts the heat around it to itself, and with this cold, freezes surrounding liquids such as water, in effect burning them through its cold. Thus, intense cold is a category of fire which burns through its cold. In which case, this intense cold is surely a part of hell, for it contains all the degrees and source of fire. Any questions here? Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay, please.
I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know. I found this passage a little confusing. Because it sounds like it's saying that cold is fire and vice versa, fire is cold. Like there's an equal sign between them, which doesn't make sense to me logically, because fire, heat is a state and cold is a state. They're two different physical states. So he sounds like one is like the other, which I'm sorry, I just find that confusing. Maybe Brother Ali has, or another friend has some insight on that. Thank you.
go ahead.
Now, as we were studying, can you go up, please, with the beginning of this section? Up the where the verse is. Yeah, the verse, yeah. Now, right question, because I felt this while I was speaking. Look, about the cold is the same thing. I felt this. The verse says, be, O fire, be cool and means of safety for Abraham. Because kuni bardan wa salaman. Now, fire burns. We all know it from our practical example, including the people during this event took place, this miracle took place. That is why they burned fire. And in the example of the prophetic Abraham's life, they wanted to burn Abraham with the power of the fire. It means causes, as we see it. Yeah, but in a miraculous way, they might really put him in a fire and the fire didn't burn. That is miraculous creation. It is a specific event took place during the prophet, must have taken place during the life of Prophet Abraham. Now, as far as I am reading this news now is concerned, yeah, everybody knows that fire burns, practically speaking, but we didn't know, all the old generations didn't know that cold also burns. That's why be cool. This news, be cool, tells me that, there is another means of burning, which is coldness. No refrigerators, the same electricity, we get heating, we get cold. Deep freezers, the same source. So the author saying, why the verse, God doesn't say, oh fire, don't burn, which is already known to everyone, but God said, be cool, and narrated this event to me saying that, look, there is another way of burning. As our friend Anne said, the burning is with fire. Burning is one incident, one category of creation. But coldness, intense coldness is burning is another category of creation. So the verse is referring to another category of creation that the people did not know that time. As the previous miracle of Solomon, people did not know that we can communicate with animals by speech. That is why that side is disclosed. Here in this verse, in a beautiful way, miraculous way of, very rhetorically so precious, didn't say, oh, fire, don't burn, and also don't be, be cool on Abraham. But burn, everybody's known. There's no need to get a news about it, because the miraculous events are giving the clues to the unknown qualities in the creation of the universe, that people will be encouraged to discover them. I think this point is has not been emphasized before. Rightly, our friend asked this, but verse is interesting. You know, if you really pay close attention and really concentrate on the whole Quran and keep studying the Quran, you understand that every word which is said, which is not said, is meaningful, purposeful. Fire and burning is not fair. Burning of fire is not said, because there is no need to give a miracle about known about the thing which is known to everyone. It is not miraculous. If I put the fire and put a man in it, it will burn. I know that, but I didn't know that coldness also burns. The verse is disclosing this. Beautiful literature, eloquence, actually, rhetoric. Interesting, very, very interesting. I hope it may answer the question. I hope, hoping.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it helps, but I'm still, I'm still not sure how one can category, instead of, it's interesting that the Quran says be cool rather than stop burning. That's really interesting. So I'm still trying to figure out, or still trying to understand the be cool aspect of burning. I still am not totally clear, but a little bit clearer. Because again, to me, just from a semantic point of view, they're two opposite states. One can't be the other. But that's where I run into trouble. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Brother Ali, you're muted.
Very dense cold, very high level of cold. If you put some stuff, it is as if not like fire burning, but the fire, for example, what does it do when you put wood in it or human body? It burns, becomes carbon, right?
Yes, that's
And
right.
the coldness, if it is very, very high level of coldness, I don't know, but there must be a quality in the creation, and the people may be experiencing this. When you put it just, I mean, you say that fire, sort of coldness gets stuck to it. So maybe, I don't know, there must be such thing that coldness also changes the nature of the thing from being a human body into another form, but into another form, maybe carbon-like, or maybe another form, I don't know, but changes it. It means makes it something different. Maybe I'm just speculating because I'm not a scientist. Maybe a scientist person explain it if it is within his specialty. But of course, there are different categories. I agree, but the result will be the same. I think. Okay, our friend is waiting, so I should.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I know, like in the summertime when it's hot, I want a cold drink. So I go to the freezer and I get some ice cubes and put in some water or whatever I'm going to drink, and it gets cold. But on the other hand, when manufacturers of meat or frozen foods, they don't use ice cubes. They use what's called hot ice. It's ice, but it's extremely cold. I mean, like when you open the door, you see smoke coming out, but it's extremely cold. And if you touch it, your hand or whatever will stick to it. That's the way I see it. Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. A very interesting discussion. I think we are ready to move to the third subtle indication. Just as there is an immaterial substance like belief, which counters the effects of hellfire, and affords protection against it. Sorry. The armor of Islam. So there is a physical substance which protects against the effects of worldly fire. I have to repeat that. Just as there is an immaterial substance like belief which counters the effects of hellfire and affords protection against it, the armor of Islam. So there is a physical substance which protects against the effects of worldly fire. For as is required by the name of All-Wise, this world is the abode of wisdom, and Almighty God carries out his works under the veil of causes.
Now, the above sentence, the first sentence, is a bit not clear to understand. Go to the beginning now. We have to get the adjectives next to its noun. So the translation is better to read it. I'm guessing. I'm not an English person. It's an English-speaking person. So just as there is an immaterial substance like belief, which is the armor of Islam, belief. This belief, the armor of Islam, counters the effects of hellfire. So then the sentence makes sense. Although the translator tried to put a comma here and said, armor of Islam, comma, or against it, comma, but it should go next to the belief. Close to the belief. So we don't think that armor of Islam, what is that? Another thing? No, belief is described as the armor of Islam. So only if we get belief, we are under the cover and protection of the religion of Islam. That is why the sentence didn't seem to make sense. You need to read it again. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Does someone want to say something? Or no? Okay, sorry. Therefore, the fire burnt neither Abraham's body nor his garments. He imbued them with a state which resisted fire. Thus, by this allusion, the verse in effect saying, O nation of Abraham, resemble Abraham, so that your garments may be your armor against fire, your greatest enemy both here and there. Clothe your spirit in belief in God, and it will be your armor against hellfire.
Now, it is interesting because it didn't say, the verse didn't say, O fire, be cool, period. No. And be peace. Well, shall we go up there? No. And, sorry, up, more. Yeah. A means of safety. So it means salam includes two things, according to the third explanation of the author. One is salam in your spiritual world. So you won't feel any pain, which denial causes the pain. You won't have the pain. You will be safe. And also, it says, this fire, of course, Abraham is the body of Abraham and his spiritual world. How about his clothes? It didn't work, burn as well. Wait, what does it mean? There's a miraculous creation that the fire did not burn Abraham's body as well as his clothes. And the author says, look, it is a reference to me, to human beings, It is a reference to human beings that, look, there must be a means of, like clothes, which will materially protect you from burning. Go and find out. So salam means salam. I won't be disturbed at all with the fire of disbelief. Excuse me. So spiritually, I will be in salam. Materially also, I will be in salam, not only bodily, but also my clothes. So it means my clothes, fire burns the clothes. No, no, no. It didn't burn. That's a miracle. I created you. I created. Now I'm telling you that the fire is not, there is something, if you wear it materially. Now, spiritually, we understood that materially, if you wear this cloth, the fire will not burn you. That is also news to me through the miraculous narration. Now, the author will say now what it is. Materially, it is discovered now. Yeah, the fireman uses them.
Moreover, there are certain substances which Almighty God has hidden in the earth for you, which will protect you from the evils of fire. Search for them, extract them, and clothe yourselves in them. Thus, one of man's important discoveries and a step in his progress was his finding a substance which fire does not burn, and he clothed himself in garments resistant to fire. So see how elevated, subtle, and fine a garment this verse weaves on the loom of Hanifan Musliman, which will not be torn in all eternity. And that is the end of the third indication. Oh, well, it's fine.
So Hanif and Musliman. Now we came to the second. We arrived to the following verse. We can start from with this following verse next week.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hanif and Musliman, you can show it, share it. Hanif and Musliman, you don't see it.
You don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We don't see this. Yeah, now we see it. Now what you are, it is up now. Down, down, down. A bit more down. Yeah. Okay. Don't you see Hanifa Musliman on the screen? The last piece we read today.
Ah, my bad. Yes, yes. It's
you passed. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. I like.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it means submitted to God's will with comfortable submission without forcing yourself as your feelings goes through. So Hanif means very calm, very self-satisfied way, and submission. So because you are not, you won't have any fear in the hereafter, as well as in this world, if you follow the guidance of the Quran in this world as well. So it will guide you in material sense, your bodily needs, and also in your spiritual needs, both of them, because the creator who speaks in the Quran is your creator, and your creation consists of two sides at the same time. So you need satisfaction in your spirit, then guidance is here, which is tawhid, belief. And you need satisfaction for your body. Everything is created out there for your body, but some of them needs to be discovered. And I am letting you know what needs to be discovered and waiting for your research. Beautiful to me. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think we can stop here for today. Any last reflections you'd like to add or questions? Thank you all for your patience. All right. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.